Hi, everybody. This is Kathy L. Murphy, the Pulpit Queen, reporting live from a little cabin in the woods, Murphy's Law. And I'm here tonight for a book and film club as we are going to be discussing, or as I say, we, right now it's just me, as I'm going to be discussing one of my favorite Wes Anderson's film, Moonrise Kingdom. Now, this film was done in 2012. And it was capturing a specific time, 1965, of on this island that was disconnected from a mainland. And it was set there because Wes Anderson, I saw in an interview where he wanted to capture this moment of when we had this sense of play when we were children and lived in our own imaginations. Now, it's the story of two 12-year-olds who fall hopelessly and crush with each other. And the little girl in the film is a reader. And in fact, she reads and she gets lost in her fantasy world. So in this interview, he had said that he wanted to create this film kind of like a fantasy of that world she was living in. And he does indeed. Now, the wonderful thing about this film is it has a dream cast. The little girl is played by, gosh, I can't even read my own writing, but Kara Hayward. And the little boy is Jared Gilman. And they were debuting in this film, and they were remarkable because it was so believable, the innocence of that first crush. And like Wes Anderson said in the interview, this is a time that when somebody gets a crush at that age, it's their whole world. And I remember that as if it was yesterday, because I always lived in my imaginary world because I was a big reader. I also was a big Girl Scout. So this is a story about the khaki scout troop. And Ed Norton, who is amazing, plays the scoutmaster. And the costumes in this film are impeccable. Whoever did the costumes, they really captured that time and that moment with the dress of all the characters. And the parents are played by Frances McDermott and Bill Murray. I mean, talk about an all-star cast. And some of the other characters that are in this film blow me away. Tilden Swinton, who to me is everything she touches is gold. Jason Schwartzman, same thing. Bob Balaban. And then we have Bruce Willis. Willis plays, his part was the one that was the biggest surprise for me because he plays such a different kind of character than he does in all of the films that he's been famous for. He plays the local sheriff. And it's a story about these two children, these 12-year-olds, who run away together to start their own, I guess, fantasy world. And they take off. And I love the little girl. She's got a fishing basket with her kitten in it. She has borrowed her brother's record player that runs on batteries. She has that. And she's carrying her little Samsonite suitcase, which if you were of that time frame, the 60s and into the 70s, Samsonite was those hard suitcases. I got a set for graduation from high school. But all of these things were playing out. And the wonderful thing about the film is it's about this scout troop. It's about all the things that go on to this island in their community and all the people that are involved. And then the fact that they go searching on this big, not manhunt, but children hunt for these two children that are missing on this island. The other unique thing about this film is not only is the setting just so important to the story, there's so many other things that are so Wes Anderson, you can always recognize one of his film. One of the things that he has in his film are zooms. And the zooms are done a little bit differently. Like you see somebody put up binoculars, and then all of a sudden you're looking through the binoculars to zoom in on where they are, either in the window of a house or at the tent where they've set up on this island. But the zooms are very important. Another thing that is the voyeur masks. There's a lot of interesting costume play and different things in the film. The point of view is different in his films too, because he does a lot of aerial shots, like from above, and then he has lots of maps. And I was really big into scouts and maps and compasses and note taking and rope tying and all these things. He ties in all these little intricacies, and they've got this camp set up. There's a tree house scene because anybody that knows me know that I live for my forts and my tree houses, but there's this tree house that's built at the top of a post, like a railroad tie or something. And it's just sitting on top of this post, and it's just got these boards hammered in where you climb up to it. It looks like about the most unsafe thing you've ever seen in your life. This film is humorous. It's fantastical because you're kind of in this dream world. And then you've got some adult situations going on in this film too that are handled in a very unique way. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I think one of the biggest things is, I've read a lot of books where people get hit by lightning. And, one of the characters does in this film. And something about that has always fascinated me because as a kid, I can remember my grandmother sent me out in a storm was brewing and to run to the hen house out on their farm and shut the door on the chicken house. And then as I was coming back and running up the big stone path that led back to the farmhouse, the thunder sounded like right by me, and lightning hit the ground and knocked me to the ground. And I laid there just fearful that I was still alive. And I remember running as fast as I could to get inside the house. But there's something about the buildup. There's a storm brewing. And so the kids are missing. This big storm is supposedly coming to this island. It's got all the things set up for great storytelling. And it's one of those films, I think, that you'll find the nostalgia of childhood and remembering what it was like to be a kid when every day was a big adventure, where you would pack a lunch and hop on your bike and head out the door, and you didn't know where you were going. You just knew you were going to be driving out into the, my sisters and my friends we used to bike out to the lake or go up to Christian Hill or go out into the Flint Hills of Kansas and walk the creeks. And we really didn't have cell phones or anything. We had total freedom. And the only thing that we knew was we had to be home before dark. And if you got home before dark and you were playing a mad game of kick the can or chasing fireflies, when my mother would ring that old school bell, it was time to go in. And I find this movie comforting, and because it brings back all those wonderful, fantastical things you dreamed of when you were a child, of all these adventures that you were acting out, from the reading of books to just storytelling and following the freedoms that we had back in the 1960s. My children, we live kind of outside of the city, that they kind of grew up with it, but most kids today, they haven't even spent a night out camping. And that's just hard for me to fathom because my kids and I have been camping all our lives. But the first time I took my scout troop camping, they go, "You mean we're going to stay outside all night long on the ground?" And I go, "We're going to be intense, y'all." They made it till about 3 o'clock, and then they all, swear they heard Bigfoot, and they all went running into my house and ended up being camped out on my living room floor. But it was fun, and I'm sure they remember it to this day. When we watch this film, we'll remember those dreams of our childhood. Now, Wes Anderson is a Texan, comes out of Austin, and me and my daughters have been following for some time. He's a 2-time Academy Award winning filmmaker, and he wrote this particular film with Roman Coppola, which is master storytelling. I mean, it's just a fabulous story. But some of the movies that he's done, I've watched them all, and we watch them over and over when my girls and I get together. They're now grown, but the Royal Tenenbaums, I can remember one Halloween when my daughter went as the Gwyneth Paltrow character. Nobody in the world knew who she was in her fur coat with her pack of cigarettes in her coat pocket. I'm telling you, we're a strange family. The Grand Budapest Hotel. Oh, you know, there's something about the capturing the nostalgia of the bellboys and the elevators and the look of these magnificent old hotels, and the storyline of the characters, and the characters he gets for these films are amazing. I mean, like Dreamcast in every film. We had Rushmore, Bill Murray was in that. The Isle of the Dogs, Fantastic Mr. Fox was an animation. And then just recently, we all watched over the holidays, The French Dispatch, which is amazing. So as you traverse this time of pandemic and staying home, I started this book and film club just so I would have a way to discuss the films that I'm watching every Saturday night. So I hope you will look on my Kathy L. Murphy YouTube channel. I've been posting all of them there. Normally, I have my co-host here with me, author Robert Gwaltney, but he is currently on his fantastical book tour for his newest book, well, his first debut book, The Cicada Tree. So he was out of pocket. And then a Chicago author, actor, film. She's been in commercials and everything. Ruthie Landis normally joins us, and she's out of state doing some workshops. So tonight it was me all by myself, but that's okay. I no longer have my Girl Scout sash, so I used a scarf. And then this hat reminds me so much of the Scouts that are in this movie. And of course, I've got my wonderful Magellan, you know, my all weatherproof camping shirt on. But as I always dress up for the Book and Film Club, because I was a kid that did that. I mean, every outfit that they have in this film, it could have been me as a kid, because nobody enjoyed wearing my Scout uniform more than me when I was a kid. I was a big Girl Scout and went on to become a Girl Scout leader with my own children were young. So enjoy Moonrise Kingdom. I watched it on YouTube. You can watch it there. I'm sure you can watch it on many other streaming services, because Wes Anderson is a film director and storyteller to watch. And I look forward to everything that he's got coming out. So as always, it's all about the story, whether it's in books, whether it's in songs, and the music in this film is absolutely fantastic. In fact, the music that he uses, every aspect, whether the cinematography, the music, the costumes, the cast of characters, is so well thought out, and all just come together as this wonderful orchestral masterpiece. So watch the film, and we'll see you next week at the Book and Film Club. And we're going to be watching this week. It was based upon the book by one of my favorite Southern authors from Yazoo City, Mississippi, Willie Morris. It's called My Dog Skip. And the book is a lot different to me than the movie. So if you get a chance, read My Dog Skip and then watch the film. We'll be discussing it next Saturday night, and hopefully some more of you will be back. And I've got all of our spring into summer movies up on the calendar events on our website, www.thepulpwoodqueens.com. And then tomorrow will be my second The Pulpwood Queen Shah Rukh Khan Fan and Film Club. And we're going to be discussing watching my next guest, which was David Letterman's interview with the King of Bollywood Indian actor Shah Rukh Khan. And if you don't know who he is, you need to know, because he is the biggest film star literally in the world. Yes, he's got like 44 million plus fan base in countries all over. And he's made a lot of films here in the United States that have not been discovered and should be watched. So I've got a lot going on. Check out the calendar events at www.thepulpitqueens.com. And bye for now. It's all about the story. See you then. Scouts honor.